Hi, in this video I'm going to be showing you how I make a short video sermon. And so just to speed up this process, I already input the clip right here that I'm going to use. This is Final Cut Pro that I am using. You may use any video software that you wish. The one I'm choosing is Final Cut Pro, but you can choose anything you like Adobe Premiere, you can choose Final Cut Pro, and you can even do it in Canva as well. So like I said before, I already put the clip in here. I already started and just tried to cut and clip some clips. And you can see that this is only about 1 minute, a little over 1 minute. I would try to get shorter to around 1 minute or under. But if it's a little over, that's fine. You just want to make sure that it is engaging and short. Alright, so once you have your clip already determined, no matter how short it is, you want to start clipping it and trying to take out any parts for the speaker. So if they're saying any words like or there's some breaks right here, as you can see. You want to take those parts out. You don't have to take them out, but it does help. And so just to show you this process, I'm going to zoom in. And so I see these little parts, and you can just tell because there's no volume. So I'm just going to cut it. I'm just going to bring that in. Another reason why I am cutting this is, as you can see, the speaker is moving around just quite a bit. And what happens is if you're not cutting it and moving the screen, they may go off screen a bit. So for this one right here, this is okay, but if I can make it even better, I'm just going to separate this, and I'm just going to move just this scene right here. And I'm just going to just move it to the right a bit. And that looks better. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to look through everything right here, all the scenes, and see if I can cut it even more. So like right here, it looks like he's not moving at this point. So I'm going to cut it right here. And again, I'm going to move it to the left. You want to just briefly check it. So I'm going to continue this process and I'll get back to you. I finished the videos right here. As you can see, I cut and clipped a lot of the clips right here, and it's actually under 1 minute as well, precisely at 53:33. So now what I'm going to do, since it looks good to me, I'm going to export this, and then we're going to go to the next step in adding captions. So now we're at a website called canva.com. This is what we're going to use to create our captions or subtitles. And so now we're going to go to search your content in Canvas, or you can click down here, you can do video. We're going to just click video, and then we're going to do the mobile version, so 1080 by 1920. And then at this part, we're going to drag in the video that we have created. So once you dragged in the video, we want to put the captions on here. So let's just go to the apps section. And we're going to just type in VEED. And it's this one right here, VEED, VEED. And we're going to choose file. Once we choose file, we're going to choose our file and upload it. So now the video has been uploaded. It's going to ask me to create subtitles. So you can choose from here. I like to just do regular white fonts. So usually I just do this one. And you want to do the correct language. So I do English. And I'm going to generate subtitles. So once you're finished, it's going to show you all of the text right here. And if there's any errors, you can correct them right here. Everything looks good to me. I'm going to press generate video. We're gonna add to design. Alright, so now I have the video already uploaded now. So I'm just gonna stretch this out just to make sure everything looks good. And this is the video, and as you can see, the subtitles are going in the video. And you just want to make sure that the captions are correct. If they're not, then you can go back to the previous step. So now that the video's captions are finished and everything looks good, the next step is really to decide what you want to do with the design. You can leave it like this, just a plain white background if you like. You can do any colors. You can do black as well if you just want it this way. Or what you may see on social media, a lot of people like to just stretch it out. And you can do that assuming that your camera is really good and that you export it to 4K possibly and it looks good. But in this case, I feel like the stretching is actually making it blurry. So what I like to do, I like to actually decrease it as much as possible to the point where it does not get blurry. And another reason for this is if you're putting this on Instagram or any social media apps, you just want to be aware that there are buttons on the side, like on the bottom or on the right side possibly. And I like to actually stretch as much as possible. And I believe there's also a bleed as well. So just because you think this looks right, it's actually better if you go a little bit smaller than you think. So I think this is pretty good right here. About this size. And again, there's a bleed, so it might even cut in just a little bit more. Okay, so like I said, you can do any background color. What I like to do, I like to actually design the background just so it can just be more appealing. And I have a design that I'm going to upload. So I got a background that I'm going to upload, so I'm going to just drag it in. And this is the file. I dragged in this file. This is my own personal file that I've made. If you'd like to download this for your own use, you can go to my website or you can look at the description below and click on the link. Okay, so I'm going to stretch this out. Obviously it's horizontal, so I'm going to just turn it. And then I'm going to cover the whole thing. And then I'm going to put it behind the video. So there is a positioning right here and it says to back. So I'm going to go to the back and that looks good. So next what we're going to do, we're going to grab a shape and we're just going to grab a rectangle shape. And then we're just going to grab it from here. This is just another shape right here. It has rounded corners, but we're not going to use rounded corners. So we're just going to turn that off, make this black, and then we're going to stretch it out just enough where it's kind of going on the right bottom corner. Just lift it up a bit, and then we're going to make it a little bit transparent. Again. We're going to go backwards. You can see the drop shadows there. We're going to just adjust that a tad bit to make it more look natural. So I'm using my arrow keys and just bringing it up just enough. And I'm going to go even lower on the transparency just to make it better. Maybe 35. Zoom out. Bring it in a little bit more. Maybe 25. All right, I'm going to zoom back out. I feel like the drop shadow can be a little bit better, so I'm going to make sure to increase it just a bit. Just bring that back out. Make sure the video is good too. So you gotta kind of just play around with drop shadow just a bit. All right, that looks good to me. So next, pretty much you can upload this as it is. I'm gonna put a title right here just to make it more designer friendly. So I'm gonna get a text, get a heading. I'm gonna type in the name of the person. Change the font. And I want to put it right above this video. You could put something else below, like the name of the sermon, or you can put the church name. So I'm just going to put love your neighbor. I'm going to do all caps just to make it stand out even more. And that looks pretty good to me. Now you can upload this as it is. If you want to go to the next step, you can, but this looks pretty good. But I'm going to show you something else that you can do after this. So you can either just export it right now by pressing share and press download. And then you can do the quality by 1080, or you can do 4K, which I recommend, and press download. Like I said, if you want to go to the next step, we can, or you can just upload this as it is. So now we're at the other step of this, and what I want to show you is this website called Pexels. And I'm showing you these websites that we're going to go through is because the next step is really adding in B-rolls. And basically the B-rolls are just the footages that we're going to put on top of the already made video. So what we're going to do is just show you this website called Pexels. And the great thing about this website, it is free. You can use photos or videos for this. I recommend using videos for your footages just because they look more engaging, but you can definitely use pictures or you can use videos. So this is one of them called Pexels. Another one is called Pixabay. This is another website you can use to get free videos. Again, you can type in things in the search bar and look for videos. One of my favorite websites that I'm using right now currently, it is called Motion Array. This is another website that you can use to get just wonderful footages. So you can see there's just a lot of great high quality footages. The only thing for this website, it is paid, so you have to pay for it. But if you have the budget, I highly recommend it. The last one I want to show you is the one that I used to use a lot, and I still recommend it to this day because it's still really good. They actually may have more than Motion Array. This is also a place for a lot of videos as well. And so you can go here to check it out. If you have questions or if you want to see more of these websites, you can look at the description below, or you can head to my website to find out more about them. So now we're back. We're back at Final Cut Pro that I'm using. And like I said before, you don't have to use Final Cut Pro. You can use any video software. You could even stay in Canva if you like. I just find using Final Cut Pro would be easier. So I'm here and I noticed that everything looks sharp and everything looks good. But I'm just going to add B-rolls on top of this. So from here, what I recommend you do is actually just go through the video and look out for some keywords. So for example, I'm going to just zoom in real quick and we're just going to go to the bottom. See how it says the word like leadership or workplace? So when you go to these footages and he says a certain keyword or the speaker says a certain keyword, try to find footages that matches it. And you may not find exactly the footage that you're looking for, but you can get close to it. Let's try another example. So here it says, what about in your home? So right here on this clip, right here, you can put a picture of a house or a home or people in a home as well. So try to find things that matches up the keywords. And I recommend actually just writing them down if you like, just to make the process even easier. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go back to these websites that I showed you before, and now I'm gonna look for these clips based on the keyword, and I'm gonna show you the final product. So I want to show you what I did. So I put everything in a folder just to grab everything together, and you don't have to worry about using all of them, but just make sure to just gather everything together and you can drag it into your video software. So I just dragged everything into my video software. As you can see, everything is not perfectly aligned yet. So what you want to do is just make sure when the speaker says the keyword to align the video. Literally, it might be only 1 second or even 2 seconds of the B-roll footages. So I'm going to show you what it looks like once I do that. So now at this part, I'm going to show you what I did. So I timed them all well with the B-rolls. And as you can see, they're all aligned with the words. And they're really just a few seconds, maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 at most. And another thing that I want you to notice that a lot of these videos, they were actually landscape or horizontal. So I'll just show you an example. Like for this one, as you can see, it was not actually vertical. It was actually like this. And so what I had to do, I had to stretch it out. And this gets kind of tricky with your B-rolls, because if you zoom in too much, well, the subjects may not be there anymore. So you also have to find videos that will where the subject is a little bit far away, or the video will just allow you to stretch out so that you can use the video footages. Hope that makes sense. So if you can't stretch it out for any reason, I mean, what you can do is actually just put it in the center if you want, or on the top or bottom, and just make it a black background as well. And that's another way to go about it. Or just get rid of the speaker and just do a black background. So I'll just show you an example what it may look like. So what you can do is just in Final Cut Pro, I'm just going to put a background real quick just to show you what it looks like. So as you can see, this is an example of a custom background, and you can easily do this as well. There's nothing wrong with this method, but it just looks kind of off when there's only like one footage that is horizontal and everything's vertical. But it's really okay if you do it this way as well. Another thing you can do 2 images as well. So you can either do this, stretch it out and make it halfway on top, and then maybe put another footage on the bottom as well, just to show you what it looks like. Let me show you an example. So it can look like this. You can do the same video, maybe just be artistic, or you can do different videos, but with the same meaning. All right. So these are a couple ways to go about it. So other than that, I want to show you another way you can go about this besides using B-rolls. Another method I like to use is actually using the text. There's a part where the speaker is talking about civic life and saying the definition. So what I did, I just put a background, and then I just add text and just timed it very well. And as you can see, when the speaker speaks, he's going to say these exact lines, and I just put it differently in the text. Another thing I just want to mention importantly, that with these B-rolls, it can get out of hand. You can keep putting B-rolls one after another, but it doesn't mean the video is going to get better at all. So these are just for good visual aids and just for engagement purposes. And so what I did at the end, I put some space for the speaker where you will see the speaker's face. And that's okay too. And if you want to put another footage in between this part, or you can put it at the end, that's okay as well. Just letting you know that you can put the speaker in the video at some point and just leave some breathing room for that. So that's about it for the B-rolls. If you want to go even further than that, you can even add special effects. So sometimes I like to put these lights in. Again, you don't have to do it, but I'll just show you really quick what that means. So in the transition effects for Final Cut Pro, there's this thing called bloom or flash, or lens flare and light noise. These are all great. Usually I just use bloom or flash because they're just really fast. So I'll just show you real quick. So I just put them in here, and I just do the beginning part. It may mess up your timing, so it'll just kind of do this. Like there's gonna be a little bit of an effect that's gonna happen, and I'll show you the full video at the end, what that looks like, and then I'll put it at the end of the B-roll footages here as well. And as you can see, you can go overboard with this part as well, so you can pretty much do anything at this point where you're going to put a lot of effects or not. Again, this is optional, but if you want to do it, you can do it. So at this point, the video is pretty much good to go. The last thing that I do recommend that you just look at is something I didn't talk about in the beginning of this tutorial, is the volume. And the volume is very important. And how I receive the videos, they're already really good to go. I don't need to do anything with the volume, but if you do need to do something with the volume, like if there's too low, maybe you just want to increase it a little bit, I'm going to just show you how I do it in Final Cut Pro. So I click on the video, and this is assuming that this is all one video, so if you clip the video in any sense, try to combine it. I go here to this speaker icon, and I do equalization. If there's a lot of noise, you can do voice isolation. I try to avoid this as much as possible because it'll just kind of make the voice very narrow and not high quality. And you'll see what I mean if you try to use this feature and like there's a lot of wind, you put this feature on there, it just makes the voice like not as high quality, I would say. And this is the part where you put the volume up. You can increase it. I just try to put a little bit of yellow in it. Once it breaks a little bit, that's when you stop. So, and you just want to watch the meter here. So if it's going to around, I would say above -3 right here, halfway, I would stop it. I would try to be in the ballpark of -3 to -6 if I can, possibly at the maximum peak. And that's pretty much what I do. If you want to check out if it's one-sided speaker, you can. Here on the bar it shows that both speakers are working, but sometimes maybe it's just mono and it's just on one side. If you want to do both sides, just make sure to do dual mono. Again, this is all optional. You don't have to do any of this, but this just make sure that your volume's good. Okay. One final thing you can do with your video is to add a background music to your video. And so I'm at the website called Motion Array, and then you can look through the music and just find music that you like to pick. These are one of the websites you can go to. You can also go to Envato. You can also check out the YouTube music selection, which are all copyright free, I believe, and add them to your video. So just another added thing that you can make your video even better. So I'm back at Final Cut Pro, and I'm going to add the music onto the video. I'm going to just drag it in and just make sure to cut it off at the right point. Sometimes I leave a few seconds on, and you just want to zoom in. It could be like 2 to 3 seconds if you like, or you can just cut it exactly. It's up to you. Another thing you want to do, since the music's very loud, you want to just bring it down. Usually I like to stay around -10 to -20. In this case, I'm going to do -20, where the music is barely there. And that's good. And now you just want to export your video, and it's ready to be uploaded. So after that, the video is finally done, and this is pretty much the whole process that I do. And now I'm going to show you the final clip.
How are you living out this call to humble servant leadership in your workplace? Do you lord your authority over others, or do you find ways to serve them and lift them up? What about in your home, in your neighborhood, in your engagement with your city, in your civic life? We use this term civic life in this series. Let me take a minute to define it. Civic life is the public life of a citizen who is concerned about the affairs of their community or nation. I'll say it again. Civic life, it's the public life of a citizen who's concerned with the affairs of their community or nation. As we think about in this season, our attention is more drawn to our civic life, and when we come into an election, we think about the way in which we engage in the affairs of our community. Are we looking to the interests of other people or only for ourselves?